Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Memoir of my banking journey by Mr. V.H. Ramakrishnan, retired General Manager of Bank of India. Episode number 16. The chapter Delhi Chalo, my experiences as a General Manager is continuing. The link of earlier episodes is available in description. Visit of executives continued. After Mr. Dahotre retired, Mr. G. Katoria, who was with State Bank of India, was appointed as our chairman. He was very informal and business oriented. He always used to carry a small pocket note book with him. Whenever you mention something, say a proposal pending with head office, he would take out of his pocket book and make a note of the same. He would follow it up on reaching Mumbai. Mr. Katoria used to talk very kindly to everyone. When he used to enter his cabin in Delhi, he would tell my service staff, क्या हम को चाय पिलाएंगे? Will you please bring tea for us? In such a kind tone that my service staff would feel greatly honored. He was also firm on certain matters. He was to conduct interviews for the general managers. One of the general managers, who was a very senior deputy general manager, had only 10 months to retire. He wanted me to find out from Mr. Katoria whether he had any chance of getting a promotion since his residual service was less than 1 year. He did not want to appear and get rejected. In the car, I asked Mr. Katoria about the same. Mentioning the name of the DGM, Mr. Katoria clearly told me, "You tell Mr. X that I will not promote him since he has less than 1 year. There is no need for him to appear." I conveyed the news to the concerned general manager and he did not appear for the interview. I understand that things are different now. People with just 2 months are also promoted. Once Mr. Katoria came to Delhi immediately after he had selected chief executives for a few foreign branches. In the car, he suddenly asked me, "What do you think about my selection?" One thing I always believe is to give an honest opinion. I told him that I had my reservations about only one selection. He asked me whether it was about A. I told him it was about B. Then I gave him my views mainly about the limited exposure of the officers concerned in foreign exchange, and he was going to a center where such knowledge was very vital. Mr. Katuria then explained to me the reasons for selecting B. That was one good quality about him. He would patiently explain and convince you. In this case, later on bank had to face a lot of problems because of B for different reasons. I will be writing more about Mr. Katuria, especially about his time management when I cover my head office days. Mr. A.T. Selvam, ATP, was the ED when I reported to Delhi. Whenever he visited Delhi, he used to feel at home as he was born and brought up there. His father was a top position in the PWD. In fact, ATP was known as Punjabi Tamilian. He never spoke or behaved like a Tamilian. Of course, he could speak colloquial Tamil well. He had excellent contacts. He built up the business of IOB in Delhi. In fact, the banking divisions had a branch of IOB and not of any bank from the north. ATP was also a product of St. Stephen's. He was a college mate of Amitabh Bachchan, Mantek Singh Ahluwalia, and a few other well-known personalities. ATP was fond of drinks. When he visited for the first time after my takeover and found that I was a teetotaler, he pulled my legs by saying that had he known that I was a teetotaler, he would not have posted me to Delhi. I had seen ATP leaving the office sharp at 5 p.m. in Mumbai. His Sipai would carry two suitcases full of files to the car. Next morning, his table would be clean and all the files would have been disposed of with his critical comments in a few. His secretary told me that he normally carried more than 100 files home. I asked him once how he was able to clear so many files overnight. Then he told me his schedule. After leaving the office, he would go to home, have a shower, then would go to the church. He would have his dinner around 8:30 p.m. with the family. Then at 9 p.m. he would sit at his table with a drink before him and would clear all the files and would go to sleep around 1 a.m. Asked him whether he felt tired with the huge number of files to clear. I always remembered that he told me and would recommend it to every aspiring executive. I quote him, Ramakrishnan, when you enjoy your work, volume is not a problem. I remembered this throughout my career and even after retirement when I had to read many papers for the board meetings of Andhra Bank. I also remember his elevation as CMD of Union Bank. My PRO was following up the matter and the files came back from the PMO's office by around about 11 a.m. to the banking division. Mr. Dahotre and ATP called me and wanted the notification to be released before 1 p.m. It was one of the rare occasions I visited the banking division. My PRO Kapoor made me comfortable in a particular room of an official and did all the running around. By 12:30, the notification was ready. Because of my presence, not personal, but as a senior executive of Bank of India, the banking divisions went out of way and allowed us to send a fax from their office. After sending the fax, I tried to speak to ATP, but he had already left for Union Bank. Immediately, Mr. Jategaonkar rang me up and asked me about his notification. That took another 1 hour. In his case, he had to only sign as he was promoted from our bank itself. Without doing anything, I had a feeling as if I had achieved something. If ATP was of a flamboyant type, Mr. Jategaonkar was a quiet person, a gentleman of to the core. Well-mannered, he would never speak in a loud voice or to the best of my knowledge, lose his temper. He was also a nostalgic person. When he went to Rajasthan, he expressed a desire to visit a rural branch opened by him when he was heading North Zone. In Jodhpur, he stayed at a hotel, not a five-star one, where he had stayed many years before. During his visit to Delhi, he would always invite me to join him at breakfast in the hotel. After his stint in Singapore and London, Mr. Jatakar worked at head office as general manager for some time before getting elevated as GD. When I met him as GM, I asked him whether he found it difficult to adjust to Indian conditions at such a high position. He replied, you see, at this level everything comes as a cooked food. There is hardly any need to do original work. You have to study, understand, and use your common sense before acting. Mr. Jategagar was succeeded by Mr. Karunanandan, who came from Indian Bank. When he came to Delhi after taking charge, he requested me to book for an Abhishekam Puja at the famous Malai Mandir Murugan temple. He arrived in the morning and from the airport he straight went to the temple and then to the office. This became his regular routine whenever he visited Delhi. Mr. Karunanandan would always make it a point to visit a branch. During our first visit, I was surprised to find him take out from his bag something like a questionnaire. He sought various information and noted down everything himself. I had not seen any other executive doing like this. After he returned to Mumbai, within a couple of days, we got his report. He was very painstaking and was considered a very honest and straightforward person. However, he was also caught up in the Indian bank tsunami and could not complete his term in our bank. His last days became painful. He passed away within a couple of years after leaving our bank. I felt very sad and called on his wife during my visit to Chennai to express my condolence. All the chairmen and EDs, except Mr. Dahotre, expected the general manager to receive them and see them off. In a way, it was a good opportunity to interact with them as we would not be disturbed by telephone calls. No mobiles in those days. I am not covering the visits of general managers as that would make this a lengthy narration. Lessons I learned. If you enjoy your work, then volume is not a problem. If a junior expresses a different view, does not get annoyed. Explain to him the rationale behind your decisions. Tell peace. In the 70s, when I was heading the community banking department at Chennai regional office, I had to go to Bangalore on an official trip. I was staying in Hotel Broadway near our main branch at Kampakoda Road. Those days the road was full of banks, hotels and cinema houses. It was always tempting to go for a night show after the day's work. One evening Mr. R. Sundaragopal landed in Bangalore on a personal visit. He came to my room and suggested that we should go for a movie. I readily agreed. While he was freshening up, the lights went up. He suddenly asked me as to why the snow was a bit oily. Snow was a white creamy thing with a nice fragrance which people used as a base before applying talcum powder. I told him I do not use any such cream. Then the lights came on and I saw Sundaragopal with brill cream over his entire face. Both of us had a hearty laugh. A tale of two decisions. One fine morning, Nagesh Paida, who was heading IFB, and PH Ravi Kumar, who was chief manager of Chandni Chowk branch, called on me with an exciting proposal. The main banker of the Navaratna PSU had contacted one of them, which one I am not able to recollect, and wanted to know whether our bank would like to participate in issuing a guarantee for a large amount. Our share was around rupees 600 crore on behalf of the PSU. That would earn us commission of about rupees 3 to 4 crores. The catch was they wanted our sanction within 24 hours. It was within board powers. Luckily, there was a board meeting scheduled for the next day early. Now that was a tall call. We did not want to miss the opportunity of earning such a huge income. I had only one option. I telephoned the then chairman, Mr. Dhautre, and briefed him about the request. He gave a spontaneous response. He asked me to present the proposal directly to the board the next day. I could not believe my ears. Never had it happened in Bank of India. Of a general manager directly presenting the proposal to the board without going through credit department of HO. It was a challenge for all of us. I assured the CMD that we would do as suggested by him. I told both Nagesh and Ravi Kumar, both as James, that the ball was now in their court. I told them not to go to their branches but to occupy the conference room at the general office, get the required papers, and ensure that the proposal is ready by evening. I gave them an incentive. If the proposal is sanctioned, the next day the commission would be shared by both the branches on 50-50 basis. As per the then procedure, the proposal had to be prepared by the IFB and the account would be parked at Chandni Chowk branch. Both of them happily agreed and then started their marathon session. I had told Bella that whatever they needed, coffee, snacks, lunch, etc., should be supplied immediately. We virtually locked them in the conference room. I had no tension at all since the matter was in the hands of two of the best officers of the bank. By late evening, the proposal was ready and came for my signature. Next day morning, board meeting was at 10 a.m. I remember that the meeting was held at the Park Hotel. Mr. Dawatre asked me to come inside the boardroom. Once everyone had settled down, Mr. Dawatre announced, before taking up the agenda, there is one very urgent proposal. I am asking Ramakrishnan to make a presentation. I mentioned the name of the Navaratna company and the requirements. Before I could proceed further, one of the land directors said, I have no issues. We should go ahead. Others also agreed. Within 5 minutes, I came out. There was a lounge outside the boardroom where both Nagesh and Ravikumar were standing with anxious look in their faces. I showed them the thumbs up sign and they rushed towards me like two kids running to their mother while coming out of the school, and we hugged each other. I could see drops of tears in their eyes. Such was the emotion resulting from clinching a big deal. It was a wonderful moment which I cherish even after so many years. The story will not be complete if I do not mention about Mr. Ravi Kumar, one of the brilliant officers of the bank with exceptional knowledge of international finance. He was always up to date with all the developments in the economic field. Even at the level of chief manager, he was well known in the banking circles. One day he came and told me that he has been invited by ICICI Mumbai for giving a lecture at that training college. I was very happy that an institution like ICICI was called a Bank of India officer to give a talk. On his return, he called on me that told me that he has been offered a job in ICICI Bank at a senior level. It appears while he was giving a lecture. Mr. Bhagul, the then chairman of ICICI, dropped in and sat in a corner. After the lecture, he was offered the job. When he asked them about the interview, they smiled and said the interview was over. They told him that the lecture was the interview. What a way of selection. I gave my views to Ravi Kumar. I told him that if he continued the Bank of India, he would not face any serious competition in reaching the top. I told him I was 100% sure that he would become a chairman of nationalized bank. But in ICICI Bank, he would face stiff challenges. As and when the vacancy arose for a chief executive, he would find three more executives as good as himself competing for the same post. But the remuneration would be far, far better than in Bank of India. Rubikovan decided to move out, and I wished him all the best. He did well in the bank and set up National Commodity and Derivative Exchange as its founder managing director, sponsored by ICICI Bank. Now he is the chairman, non-executive of SKS Microfinance Limited, and he is on the board of many well-prepared large corporates. Well in touch, and I wish him all the best in all his endeavors. Now let us move on the tail of the second decision. I always used to tell the managers that apart from reaching the targets, they should do something special so that they would be remembered forever. It could be buying a new premises or renovations of premises or introduction of some special services, etc. This also applies to the general manager. People in Bhopal always remember Mr. A.I. Sheikh for building a number of flats for the officers. I was also trying to buy some good flats in Delhi. Mr. I.M. Sarin was the chief officer in charge of administration, which included premises matters. He brought a proposal to buy about 14 3 BHK flats in a new gated community with a lot of facilities. I visited and inspected the flats. I was quite satisfied. The only catch was it was beyond the old airport on the Gurgaon road. We had many officers of the rank of chief managers and above in Delhi. Most of them were transferred, and quite a few of them had official cars. It would take 45 minutes to travel for them to come to say Connaught Place area. We thought it was worth buying. It was 1995. Mr. G. Kathuria was the chairman. On one Friday, he landed in Delhi. I told him casually about the proposal. He was chewing his tobacco, listened to me carefully, and after thinking for a minute, told me, if you can send the proposal to reach head office on a Monday, I'll get it cleared in the board meeting on Tuesday. Late in the evening, I called Sarin and asked him whether he could get the proposal ready by Saturday evening. He said he would try. I told him this was a golden opportunity which we should not lose. We then planned the line of action. Sarin and his team will complete the paperwork on Saturday evening. On Sunday morning, it would be signed by the JZM and I. Sarin would carry the proposal personally by the evening flight to Mumbai, my Nigerian style. On Monday, he should go premises department and explain the proposal to them. Sarin and team started working on it right away on Friday evening, and by God's grace, the proposal was ready by Sunday morning. On Monday morning, I informed Mr. Katuria that the proposal, along with the officer, is in head office. He said he would take care. What he did, I do not know. By 3 p.m., Sarin phoned me and said that after clarifying all the queries of the department, the proposal has been handed over to the board secretary for being placed on the table at the board meeting the next day. Sarin returned the same night. Tuesday, we kept our fingers crossed. In the evening, the board secretary, I think Mr. Sudhir Rao, called me and informed me that the proposal has been approved. Celebrations erupted in Sarin's department. I have to place on record Mr. Sarin's proactive approach. He was a very intelligent officer, not afraid of taking decisions. He retired as AGM in the bank. The flats we bought are today valued many times the original cost in view of the development in that region. I was told the officers are quite happy to live there. I want the readers to note the following points. Both decisions were possible because of the lightning speed with which the chairman responded and gave out of the box solution. Believe me, they never knew the parties. They just supported us. That is how big deals are clinched. The chairman backed us when they sensed it was a good business proposal. I am ever grateful to them. Lessons I learned. When you see an opportunity to do a big business, grab it and go to the highest level to get it done. Do something other than the routine work which everyone can do. Do something for which you will be remembered. Tell peace. During 1977, Mr. R. Paramasaran was the regional manager in Chennai. A person with simple habits, he was a teetotaler and pure vegetarian. He went to Cochin on an official visit. Mr. D. Naransamy, who was the manager of Cochin branches, had booked him in the Hotel Woodlands in Ernakulam. Cochin and Ernakulam are twin cities. Ernakulam is the commercial center. On arrival, when he found out that he was booked in Hotel Woodlands, he asked Mr. Narayan Samy as to whether Woodlands was the biggest hotel in the city. Mr. Narayan replied that Hotel Sea Lord was the biggest hotel. Since Mr. Paramasan was a vegetarian, they booked at Woodlands. Mr. Paramasan told him, quote, I am coming here as the regional manager of a big bank. My personal habits have nothing to do with my official visit. As a top executive of Bank of India, I should stay at the biggest hotel. What will the customers think of the bank when they hear that I am staying in a smaller hotel? Book means Sea Lord. Unquote. Look at his reply positively. He was more concerned about the image of the bank than about his convenience. NRI branch. The head office directed us to open an NRI branch. This was the second NRI branch to be opened after Mumbai. We decided to make it as a showpiece. We carved out a portion of Parliament Street branch as NRI branch. Next job was to choose a manager. I selected Babu Venkatachalam as the manager. He had almost completed his tenure as manager of Greater Kailas branch. There are three reasons for selecting him. His performance in Greater Kailas was commendable. His public relations were very good. He had a stint in the New York for 4 years. The moment it was known that he was selected, the Officers Association Secretary Mr. Batra met me. With hesitation, he told me that the officers were not happy about my selection of Babu. I asked him the reason. He said there was a big feeling that I had selected him because he is of my community, Tamil. I remembered Mr. Dahotre's words. I told Batra that if according to him Babu is not a capable officer, I would cancel his posting. Batra promptly said he was a capable officer. I told him that then there was no issue at all. I also added that just because I am Tamil speaking, it did not mean that Tamil speaking staff should be denied the opportunities due to them. Whoever deserves would get the deserving posting. In other words, I would try to be fair to all. When Babu called on me, I told him that since the branch would not be having any cash operations, he would not post any clerk. He would be given an officer to assist him. I also asked him whether he could manage without any service staff. He agreed very sportingly. I told him that this should be a new precedence. There was one more thing. A very good customer of Nairobi branch had large deposits in crores with one of our branches. Once he met me along with his wife after he finished his work with the branch. He was very kind and polite Sardarji. We had coffee together. He told me that he had spent an hour at the branch, but the manager never offered him a cup of coffee or tea. I was indeed surprised. Normally all our managers were very hospitable. Later when I checked up with the manager, he blamed it on the shortage of service staff. Therefore I told Babu that he would install a coffee vending machine in that branch. I think we can take credit for having a coffee vending machines for the first time in a branch in Bank of India. I had seen this in Exim Bank. If an important customer came, Babu or his officer would carry cups of coffee and offer them to the customer. The branch did very well. Many new accounts were opened. Babu was succeeded by Mr. Bhagwat, who had lot of Canada connections. I think during his time the branch also won an award. A call from Tokyo. One day I got a call from Tokyo. The chief executive, Mr. E. Balakrishnan, was online. When I appeared for the interview for joining Bank of India in 1965, Mr. Balakrishnan was the one who called out the names of candidates and ushered them to the interview room at 70 to 80 Mahatma Gandhi Road. Balakrishnan was 2 years senior to me in Loyola College. Later on, we became good friends when I met him in 1989 on my return from Nigeria. In fact, we got our DGM promotions together. A person with a good personality, he used to chat with subtle humor. After his Tokyo assignment, he came back to India and then resigned and went back to Japan. Later on, he settled down in Coimbatore but died soon. Lost a good friend. I was very happy to receive a call from him. He told me that there was a young training officer who was to return to India. He added that the officer was exceptionally good in dealing and used to work even from home. He suggested that I should try to get him posted to Delhi overseas branch. The name of the officer was Sankaranarayanan, Sankar. I immediately requested personal development to post Sankar to Delhi. They also agreed. I posted Sankar to New Delhi overseas branch. Within a week, the AGM of overseas branch, if I remember correct, it was Mr. K. N. Chaturvedi. called me on phone, said the boy was brilliant. He was very happy to get such a good officer. But our happiness did not last long. A few months later, Mr. S.B. Wagle, General Manager International, called me and informed me that they proposed to transfer Sankar to head office international development. I tried to resist, but he said he had been identified for opening a new planning divisions to international development. For the sake of the bank, I had to agree. I called Sankar and told him. Like a soldier, he obeyed the orders. However, head office plans did not work well. In spite of his best efforts, Mr. Wagle could not succeed in getting accommodations for Sankar. He gave up and told Sankar he would transfer him to his hometown Chennai. Luckily at Chennai, he was posted at overseas branch. He was doing a wonderful job there in the dealing room. His luck did not last long. There was an agreement in South Zone with the association that whenever an officer returned to home zone, he should serve one term outside the place from where he went. The Jolan manager tried his best to retain him at Chennai overseas branch, but could not do it. He was to be transferred to Tirupur branch as a third officer. By this time, I had landed in Mumbai and was in charge of international and treasury departments. I came to know about Sankar's imminent transfer. I thought we could make optimum use of his expertise. Only if he was in Mumbai. So I got him transferred to Mumbai, and everyone knows about his excellent tenure at the treasury branch. He later proceeded to Singapore to head the dynamic dealing room. There were many twists and turns in his career path. It would not be proper to go into all those details since he is the ruling executive director of our bank. Suffice it to say that by sheer merit, he met all the challenges and came up in life. He is young with another 5 years of service. I am sure we would see him not only as the managing director of a bank, but with a little bit of luck, also as the deputy governor of the RBI. I wish him all the best in life. EDPCL Information Technology Development. Any story about Delhi would be incomplete if I do not mention about this department. The department was located below the Industrial Finance branch in the annex of Connaught Place Hotel. It was headed by DG Pattabardhan, a brilliant officer. He was soon transferred to Singapore. On his return, he set up MIS department at head office and then the risk management department. He was very good in analysis and interpretations. If he had put in a continuous service, he could have become even the chairman of the bank. He took a sabbatical and went as executive director of United Western Bank for 3 years. Because of his sabbatical, he could not appear for GM promotion. Later on, when he went as CEO of State Bank of India. Post retirement, he is the CEO of FIDI, a contented person, always cheerful and of helpful tendency. Prakash Pai, who succeeded Pattabardhan, was another brilliant officer. He later left the bank and joined nuclear software and was in US. He is doing very well in his profession. Sanjay Pawar, Rajiv Nair, Latha Balakrishnan, Thagarajan were other young officers totally dedicated to the task. Pawar and Rajiv Nair went to Tokyo later on. Pawar chose to switch over to general banking and is now CEO of European branches. Rajiv Nair is DGM at IT department in head office. Even though this department did not have enough space, they all worked with a team spirit and never complained about lack of facilities. This team was entrusted with the job of total computerization. Parliament State Branch was our first target. It was a mammoth task. There were innumerable issues. They did a wonderful job. After the computerization was over, we appointed Balakrishnan as the troubleshooter for the branch. I remember an incident. She had invited some guests at home for dinner. Mr. Balakrishnan was the CFO of Indian Airlines. Exactly at 6:30, the Parliament Street branch sent her the SOS. She rushed to the branch and was stuck till about 7:30 p.m. and solved the problem. Then she proceeded home to cook the food. Mr. Balakrishnan understood her problem and held the fort till she was back in the house. Such was the dedication of these officers. All the above officers are still in touch with me. I wish them all the best in their life. Lessons I learned. Impartiality does not mean denying opportunity to your own community people. When bank's interest is foremost, rules can be bent. Do not confuse with laws. If you have merit and self-confidence, you can do well in all your assignments and come out with flying colors. A cohesive team is essential for the success of any project. tailpiece. Unsung hero 1. In the 70s, a foreign posting was a rare thing. Even if you get orders, you were not certain until you boarded the flight. There was one Siva Ramakrishnan, a chartered accountant, joined before me, who was working in the internal audit department. His way of talking used to give the impression that he was not a serious person, but he was a very intelligent officer. The story goes that he found out a major legal lapse in our letter of guarantee. It was appreciated by none other than the great legal luminary, Mr. H. N. Baswala. Siva Ramakrishnan was nominated for London training. All arrangements were over. He went to the airport to board the flight. An officer came rushing to him, saying that his order was cancelled. He went back home. I do not know the reason, but he made it after about a few months. Later on, he was sent to Lucknow to help Mr. D. N. Shukla in forming the new zone and opening hundreds of branches there with lead bank responsibility. I think it was too much of a strain, and he died of heart attack at a young age. The chapter Delhi Chalo, my experiences as a junior manager is continuing. Thank you very much for your patience. Request for like, subscribe and share.